Hello mathematicians, welcome back to another instructional video. I am Miss Armgart. Today we're going to learn about powers and their forms. So first we need to go over vocabulary. So the first thing you'll see is that big number 3. The 3 is the base. So that is the number that repeats. So in this case, the base is 3. We know that the exponent is the other number. It's the smaller number up above. That tells us how many times. So 3 times 3 is 3 to the second. It repeats 2 times. So 3 times itself twice. Our last word is power. Now this whole problem is a power. So when you have a base with an exponent, you're saying to the power of. So this is 3 to the second, or 3 to the power of 2. 3 times 3 is 9. So we've multiplied 3 by itself. So there are 2 3's multiplied together. So now let's practice using value, power, and expanded form. So we know 4 squared, the power is the base with the exponent. So it's 4, and squared means 2. So if you have a square and we have 4 on one side, it will be 4 on any other side. To find the area, you multiply 4 times 4. So the square, 4 squared, is 4 times itself. Expanded form means we write out however many bases. So here is our 4 times 4. And the value is the solving, is the answer. So 4 times 4 is 16. There's our value. So you'll see squared powers always have an exponent of 2. Now we're going to do 9 cubed. So we know a cube is simply a 3-dimensional square. Excuse my terrible cube. And if one side is 9, then all the other sides. And to get the area of a cube, you do 3 times. So each side, length, width, height. So in expanded form, this becomes 9 times 9 times 9, or 81 times 9. Use a calculator, folks. You don't have to do this math in your head. I used a calculator, and it is 729 is the value, is the answer to that problem. So now let's look at power of 4. I'm not going to draw a shape for that because that's just not how it works. 4 to the power of 4, we know the first number is our base. We're going to deal with 4's. And power of 4 means exponent of 4, which means we will be multiplying 4 by itself 4 times. So we have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is the expanded form of 4 to the 4th. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. And if we multiply 16 by 16, we get 256. So when we're working with exponents, we're only working with one number. We're not multiplying a whole bunch of different numbers. Exponents means it's always going to be the same number. So now, how do we solve for a missing value? So now we know when we see an exponent, it means that number multiplied by itself. But what happens when we either don't know the number or we don't know the exponents? All right, so we want to know what number times itself, because that is our 2 equals 64. Well, if we do 2 times 2, that's 4. Well, it's not 64. If we do 4, that's 16 of the boxes. That's still not quite there. If we do, what happens if we jump and we do all 9? Well, 9 times 9 is 81. That's too many boxes. So it's somewhere between 4 and 9. 64 is closer to 9. So I'm going to try 8 times 8. And if you count all of those boxes, 8 times 8 will equal 64. So this is for when we don't know what number it is. What about if we know the base, the number, but we don't know the exponent? How many times is 7 multiplied by itself to get 16,807? Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, so if we just divide 16,807 by 7, if we divide that number by 7, are we going to get the answer? Are we looking for the number of sevens in this number? Not really. We are looking for how many times 7 is multiplied by itself to get this answer. So let's take 7 to the second power, or 7 squared. Well, we know the expanded form is 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Well, that's definitely not big enough. But what happens if we have 7 squared times 7 squared? Well, we know that's the same as 49 times 49. 2,401. Well, that's not 16,000, but that's a lot closer. What happens if we multiply that number by 7? Let's see. That becomes 16,807. Woohoo, we found it. But wait, how many times did we multiply 7 by itself? Okay, let's go through. And we had 7 squared and we had 7 squared. So I know that is 2 plus 2. And then we had this 7. There was 1. So that would be 5. So that means our answer is 7 to the 5th is the same as 16,807. Double check on the calculator that the expanded form of 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 will give you the right answer, that these two are the exact same. Now, we have almost reached the end of the video. You know the drill. What vocabulary did you hear? What examples can you write, either from your own brain or from the notes? Make sure you fill those in. And until next time, happy solving.